Hello, my name is Paul Wells. The year is 1964 and I have 10 song covers for you. Let's begin with song number 1. A 1, 2, 3. And that was the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night, which is in a grueling G. For iconicity, this gets a 0 hours rated 10 out of 10. Song number 2, a 1, 2, 3. And that was Roy Orbison, Old Pretty Woman, which is in A. For iconicity, this gets a delectable 8 out of 10 for the arpeggiated riff, obviously. And for classic 1960s snare on all 4 beats. Highly, highly characteristic of the 1960s. Coverability, I give this a palatable 6 out of 10. Now, there's a phenomenon at play here, which is basically, if you've got a song which is highly iconic, then it improves its coverability, because if you can play a bit of it, then everybody knows it. So it's easier to cover. Much, much harder to cover a song that not so many people know. Song number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The Animals, House of the Rising Sun, which is in a solemn A minor. Iconicity, I give this a heliocentric 7 out of 10. It is really hard to imagine that there was ever a time when this song didn't exist. For harmonic sensuality, a solar-powered 8 out of 10. Major chords a minor third apart. So we've got a major chord and another major chord, but the interval between the 2 chords is a minor third. So that gives it quite an unfamiliar, disturbing feel. We also have 2 major chords a major third apart. C. There's a major third below that, E. So really some quite interesting things going on here. The other thing I'd note about this song is it feels, as you play it, that the left hand is leading and the right hand is, in a slightly laggy, lazy way, following it. It says, all right, I see what you've done there, I'll fill something in. So the left hand has the first beat of the bar, and then the right hand has the remaining 5 beats of the bar. C, go on then. And what I'm also doing is I'm, in a lazy way, moving, letting go of that C slowly. Letting that chord mix slightly into the new chord as dictated by the left hand. Song number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beatles, I Feel Fine, in G. Melodic complexity, this gets a self-diagnostic 8 out of 10. The Beatles, I think, never really repeated themselves. Each song just stands on its own. And, yeah, they did a lot of divergence, they did a lot of experimentation, and I think this is an example of some of the early heavier use of a more bluesy sound. I want to give you a little bit of an explanation about dominant sevenths. What usually happens, what's very, very common in music is, say we're in the key of C, and we might be dancing around F and G and C, which is fine, but to get a little bit of interest in, we might put a D in, which lifts us up to G. But the use of a dominant seventh is to drag the tonic down towards the flats. So you can climb down through the flats. What's different about the use of the dominant sevenths in this is they're not there for that purpose, they're just there, which gives it a bluesy sound. Song number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that was Mary Wells, no relation, My Guy, which is in B flat. Melodic independence, this gets a fidelicious. Yes, that is a real word. It's the adjective from fidelity. A fidelicious 7 out of 10. I think it's hard with this song to say whether the melody or the harmony was made first. I'm going to try to explain this. So, if someone came to me with that melody and I was in a fairly flat and grey mood, and I said, yes, all right, I'll put some chords to it, I might put... There's a whole range of different things you could put to it, but you'd probably put something in where the chords kind of complement the tune. This is just wild. It just has a mind of its own. Those chords don't match that tune. So, with the chords there first, and the tune was added later, we don't know. I don't know. But this is a jazz piece. It is jazz. We haven't yet quite hit the middle of the 1960s. Jazz is still there. Jazz was a massive influence to this point. I think jazz kind of with us in the 1970s, but it's still with us in 1964, certainly. So... for harmonic character, I give it an adherent 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10, basically because of the very, very tasteful use of these jazz chords. Really pretty good. Song number 6. A 1, 2, 3, 4. The Beatles' Can't Buy Me Love, which is in C. Harmonic independence, this gets a fiscally prudent 7 out of 10. What's special about this song is the tune appears twice. But the chords underneath the tune change. So we've got it once over C, and then again over F. Very, very clever. You've got to admire that. That's very, very clever. I don't know many songs that do that. I only know, in fact, this song that does this. Song number 7. A 1, 2, 3, 4. The Supremes, Where Did Our Love Go? Which is in C, also in C. Coverability, this gets an infantile 3 out of 10. The reason coverability is low for this is because it suffers from something called what I call the tight loop problem. It's a song which is built around a very recognizable tight loop, so you've only got to play a little bit of it. Yeah, it's got character, There are things about it that's special, but that little loop, yes, it's fine. If you've got a vocal line, you can have different words to it. You can bring in different harmonies. You can put different instruments in. Trying to cover that on the piano, though, it just kills it. I'm sorry, it just kills it. So, yeah, it just leaves you with nowhere to go. Song number 8. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. Herman's Hermits, I'm Into Something Good, which is also in C. Harmonic complexity, well, this gets an intimate 2 out of 10. Musically, it's very easy to cover, but it's full of empty calories. It just doesn't leave the usual 1, 4, 5 pattern. And I find that makes a song hard to cover, because unless it's got something else of real strength to it, then you're struggling to add anything to it that gives it some distinction. Song number 9. And I managed to just fumble through Donny Osmond, 12th of Never, which is in, well, I thought it's in B. It's actually halfway between B and B flat, so I picked B. Coverability, this gets an invalidated 5 out of 10. It's way too slushy for my liking. I'm struggling to make much of it, really. But it was a big song. I remember it from my childhood. There we go. Song number 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Manfred Mann, oh a diddy diddy dum diddy do, which is in E. Coverability, I give this a minuscule 4 out of 10. This song, you have to understand, was burnt into the brains of a generation. It again suffers from the tight loop problem. Once you've played the first 10 seconds of it, where do you go? It's just not a piano song. But it's certainly a song that if you're drunk and in a pub and fancy a good chant, then yes, it certainly fulfilled that role. That's it. That's your 10. Please remember, the most important thing about music is what it sounds like.